Why Good American Family's Imogen Faith Reid didn't tell Ellen Pompeo she loved Grey's Anatomy. She is very much a role model for me. I did love Grey's Anatomy, and I never told her because I didn't want to weird her out, Reid, 27, exclusively told Us Weekly. But I really loved working alongside Ellen so much. Reid, who plays Natalia Grace, learned so much sharing the screen with Pompeo, 55, adding, "I remember there was a time on set where, as an actor, you have to get into your right mark, and I was confused. Ellen asked the cameraman to turn over the camera for me so I could actually see what I was doing. That was a real learning moment for me. It was like I was really being taught there." Pompeo's co-star was thankful for the support on her first TV acting job. "She always taught me that I could have a voice and that I could speak up," Reid continued. "For my first job I was shy, I was a bit intimidated, and she always made me feel so comfortable. It was just a real gift for me to have somebody like her to learn from. These things that she's taught me, I'll always take with me to each job that I do." Good American Family, which is currently airing on Hulu, is a scripted true crime series inspired by Natalia Grace, who made headlines when she was adopted by Christine and Michael Barnett, as a child only to accuse them of abandoning her. Pompeo plays Christine, which marks her first role since being cast as Meredith on ABC's long-running medical drama. Reid was thankful for the support she felt on set after previously appearing as a body double on The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and HBO's The Third Day. "I was so nervous about taking on a speaking role to begin with and being a lead. I really thought, can I take this on? Because it's a lot of pressure, but the thing that helped me through it is I thought, I'm a little person, I can tell this story." Reid, who also has a form of dwarfism, Reid. "I had an incredible cast that I knew was going to guide me, and I wasn't wrong. So I was in very good hands. Something that I never really dabbled in is the amount of acting choices they would each make. Ellen would always talk about choices, and this was something that I did do it. I think I could have delved in more," Reid shared with us. Also, just how professional they all are and how they can step into a character so quickly is something I learned. It was mesmerizing learning from Christina, Sarayu, Tule, Mark, and Ellen. And even though I may have been the lead, they were the leads for me. I learned from them that it was just so amazing to do." The Natalia Grace cinematic universe is set to expand with a new series dramatizing the infamous lore for Hulu. If we've lost you at the first sentence, here's the context you're missing. This show, starring Grey's Anatomy's Ellen Pompeo, is inspired by the case of Ukrainian orphan Natalia Grace Barnett, whose adoption saga became one of the most bizarre, headline-making true crime stories of the 2010s. In a case that felt ripped straight out of a psychological thriller, Natalia's adoptive parents claimed she was not the 6-year-old child that they believed they were bringing into their home, but rather a much older adult pretending to be a child. Good American Family draws heavily from this shocking case. The premise centers around a Midwestern couple who adopt a young girl with a rare form of dwarfism. At first, everything seems idyllic as they raise their new daughter alongside their biological children. But as time passes, cracks begin to show. The couple grows suspicious that their daughter's true age may not be what they were told, and their concerns escalate to a point where they start to believe she may even pose a threat to their family's safety. If that sounds intense, that's because it is. Inspired by multiple perspectives and allegations, the show delves deep into issues of bias, trauma, and the blurred lines between truth and perception. Good American Family will undoubtedly leave you questioning what's real and what's fabricated as it explores just how far people will go to protect their loved ones, even when their actions spiral into deception and fear. It's a story of trust, betrayal, and the fragility of family, where nothing, and no one is quite what it seems. The drama series premiered on March 19 on Hulu, with the first 2 episodes dropping on that day. Since then, episodes have dropped weekly, so make sure your calendar is marked. You can stream Good American Family with a Hulu subscription or a Disney Plus subscription with a Hulu add-on. As for your streaming schedule, the dates are set, so be ready. When Good American Family first hit streaming platforms, viewers were immediately charmed by Imogen Faith Reid's disarming smile, sharp comedic timing, and heartfelt vulnerability. She played Cassie, the witty, artsy middle child with a fondness for vintage cameras and vinyl records. But behind the scenes, Imogen was harboring a secret that no one on set knew, especially not Ellen Pompeo, who made a surprise guest appearance in Season 2's dramatic Thanksgiving episode. Imogen was a die-hard fan of Grey's Anatomy. We're talking all 20 seasons, start to finish, twice. She could quote Christina Yang's "He's not the sun, you are" line like scripture. She knew exactly how many ferry boat scenes Derek Shepherd was in. She'd even cried in public once after rewatching George O'Malley's final episode on a long flight. Her obsession started during a bad breakup in college, when binging the dramatic highs and lows of Seattle Grace became a form of therapy. In many ways, Grace had been there for her when real people weren't. So when she found out Ellen Pompeo was guest starring on Good American Family, her heart flipped, then dropped, then skyrocketed again. This was it. Her chance to tell Meredith Grey herself just how much her work had meant to her. And yet, she didn't. Not on the first day of filming, when Ellen arrived on set in a chic slate-colored coat that screamed TV doctor who moonlights as a style icon. Not during the table read, where Imogen sat directly across from her, and couldn't help but imagine the iconic "It's a beautiful day to save lives" echoing in her ears. Not even during the break between takes, when they sat together in the craft services trailer, both reaching for the same hummus. "I just couldn't do it," Imogen would later confess during a press junket. "She was right there, and I panicked." At first, Imogen told herself it was about professionalism. She didn't want to be that actor, the one who fawns all over a guest star instead of treating them like a colleague. It was about boundaries, respect, decorum. But deep down, it was something else entirely. Fear. Because what if Ellen didn't care? What if she gave her a tight-lipped Hollywood smile and a distracted thanks before turning back to her phone? Worse, what if she got that look, the one veterans sometimes gave rookies when they stepped out of line? Imogen couldn't bear the idea of Meredith Grey brushing her off like just another fan. And so she bit her tongue, smiled politely, gushed about the weather instead of the greatness of Season 5. She even forced herself to call her Ellen, never Meredith, despite how many times she'd screamed that name during emotionally devastating finals. The episode's plot didn't help. Ellen's character was a stern, high-powered adoption attorney who clashes with Cassie, Imogen, over the fate of a troubled foster teen. The scenes were tense, personal. More than once, they had to lock eyes and throw barbed words across a fictional courtroom. Ellen, consummate pro, nailed every beat. Imogen, for her part, did her best to keep her knees from shaking. But there was one moment, just one, when the truth almost slipped out. They had wrapped for the day, and both women were walking back to their trailers. Ellen paused to compliment Imogen's performance. "You really held your own in that scene. That was impressive," she said with an approving nod. Imogen's heart pounded like a cardiac monitor on the fritz. It would have been so easy to say, "Thanks, that means the world. I've been watching you since I was 19, and you've literally gotten me through every rough patch in my adult life." But instead, she smiled and said, "Thanks, I had a great scene partner. Smooth, professional, soul-crushing. The next day, Ellen was gone. Her arc completed, her guest appearance wrapped. The moment had passed. Imogen went home that night, curled up with a glass of Pinot, and rewatched the pilot of Grey's Anatomy. She laughed, cried, and kicked herself. But she also knew, maybe for the first time, that not telling Ellen wasn't about missed opportunity. It was about holding on to something sacred. Because sometimes the things that save us are too intimate, too personal, to share in a fleeting hallway conversation. They live in our bones, in the quietest corners of our hearts. And if we spoke them out loud, they might lose their magic. In a later interview with Variety, when asked which celebrity had made her the most starstruck, Imogen grinned. "Oh, Ellen Pompeo, hands down," she said. "Did you tell her you're a fan?" She shook her head. "No, and maybe I never will. But I hope one day she watches that episode and sees it in my eyes."